Hello, my friends. It's been a little bit since I've had a guest on my show, but I am really excited that I've broken this solo episode habit to invite my new friend, Rachel Coons, to the show. I'm excited to learn from her, to get to know her better during this interview, and to have her share with us everything that she knows about saving money on groceries. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Christine, for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have you here and to learn from you and to hear how you've been doing lately. Let me know and let my audience know what we need to know about you before we get really into the nitty gritty.
Sure. I am a mom of four. I live up in Northern California with my husband and our four children, and I am an expert at helping families save money on groceries. That's what I do. I've helped thousands of families save an average about $600 a month on their groceries without sacrificing health, convenience, time, nutrition, all those things.
That's beautiful. And I'm so happy there's a person like you in the world to help women and families everywhere. And let's get, if you don't mind, a little more into kind of the backstory of how this focus for you came about. Was there a defining moment? Was there an issue with money or with how things were going around food in your home? What was the story?
Yeah, so back in 2019, 2020, my husband and I were in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt from school. And we really wanted to stay in California. But the problem with that is that the cost of living is really expensive. So we wanted to be able to afford to buy a house. We wanted to be able to go on family vacations and invest in retirement and all of those things. But it just felt like we were never going to be able to do that. And I had chosen to be a stay at home mom. I didn't want to work out of the home. I wanted to raise my children at home. So my husband was the one that made money and I was the one that stayed home. And I realized at that time that maybe I didn't have the ability to make money, but I had the ability to do the most with the money that was coming in. And so an empowering thing for me was to look at our finances and realize where could I cut spending and where could I be really intentional with our spending. And when we looked at our budgets, there wasn't a lot of things. We're pretty frugal people. There wasn't a lot of things that we could drastically change. Like we couldn't lower our health insurance or our rent or, our car insurance or anything like that. But when I saw that groceries were one of our highest expenses every month, we were spending $1,200 a month for our family of six, which just felt like $1,200 a month was literally leaving our bank account. And I wasn't doing anything super crazy, right? I wasn't shopping all the time. I wasn't buying crazy ingredients. And I just thought, I think I can do something to lower that. And so I kind of went on this journey of like, what can I do? How can I make this fun? How can I lower my grocery spending? And with a lot of trial and error, I tried some things that worked, some things didn't. I was able to cut my spending by $500 every single month. And that whole process, I was sharing that online as I was doing it, and it kind of just like caught fire. Well, at the same time, you know what happened in 2020? We had inflation started going crazy. Grocery prices have now increased like 40 to 50%, and people are feeling financially strapped because of how much they're spending on groceries. And so, what I realized quickly is that saving money on groceries is the fastest and easiest way to have extra money every month so that you can put it towards things that matter, things that you want to put your money towards. And so that's what I do. And I created a method that helps people do it. And the best part about this whole experience was with saving money on groceries is that I created a routine that not only saves me and my students hundreds of dollars every month, but it's also easier, less time consuming, and just overall, the stress of feeding your family is significantly reduced. And so that I think that is why people come into my world because they want to save money on groceries. But the coolest thing about it is that they come to me afterwards and like, whoa, this is so much easier than it ever has been before.
This is a beautiful story. You are so great at describing the reasons and the dynamics and how you built this. This is wonderful. So thank you for sharing it with us. I'm wondering, what did you have to find inside yourself to kind of do all of this, to do the experimentation, to say, you know what, I can actually take charge of this part that I have a connection with in terms of learning how to save money, figuring out what's the best place. How did you dig deeper into yourself and what helped you to do that?
Yeah, I had to have motivation. I had to have a reason to do it. And I tell this to my students all the time is like, if you're going to save money on groceries, what is that going to do for you? Right? So having $500 extra a month isn't great unless it has a purpose. And so when I was starting this out, my first reason that I started was like, I can't make money, but I can help us financially through this budgeting experience. So that was the first thing. And then I started to see the money savings and I started to see the ease and the time savings and all of that. And so it continued to propel me. And now it's just second nature. Now I don't have to think about it. But that was the motivation, and finding that and working towards that was huge. And we can take that extra money that we're making every month and we were able to invest it and purchase a home and do all of those extra things that we may not have been able to do because we didn't really become intentional with our spending.
This is beautiful. I just wanted to capture that point because there are people who are listening to our conversation who might have an instinct, you know what, I could build this, you know what, I can change this for me and my family or my family. And I can maybe create a ripple effect that goes beyond my home, which you have so beautifully done. What has the impact of being able to make this system and teach it to other people? What has the ripple effect been that you've been able to see and enjoy?
Oh man, I think I'm still experiencing and trying to like sort through what the whole ripple effect is. But first off, like I've built a business on what I'm doing, and I've been able to change thousands of families' lives. And those two things in and of itself are huge motivators for me. I want to help as many people as I can, because what's the number one thing that people talk about? Like when they're sitting at a barbecue and they're just hanging out, it's always about how much are you spending on groceries? How much are you spending on groceries? But I am here to change that narrative and say you don't have to spend the amount you're spending. You can still eat all the food that you want to eat, and you can spend way less doing it. And also it's just like fueling my fire to get into the ears and of more listeners and help more people do that.
You know, I'm going to share with you that before getting on this recording, I was thinking, you know, what is my own relationship with spending and groceries? And I very clearly and very quickly came to the idea that I'm frugal in most every area except groceries. So, what
Mhm.
would you say to someone like me and to me?
Well, and I would say I was you too. I was once you too, and I think most people are you, because we have to buy food for our family, right? So we don't even think twice about swiping our credit card at the grocery store. You would think twice about going to Target every other day and spending $100. But for some reason, there's this disconnect because we think we're eating the food that we have to buy, and we have priorities. We have priorities when it comes to our food. We think that we just have to be spending that amount. And again, here to say you just don't have to. There's a lot. You don't have to give up anything to save money. It doesn't mean you have to, you don't have to give up the food that you love. I never once tell people what to buy. That's not what I'm here to do, because everyone has different dietary restrictions and different needs. I'm just here to help you have a system that will help you save money while doing it.
Okay, I love that. And then I'm thinking about questions like you have a family of with 4 kids, larger size family. What do you
Mhm.
tell those parents in terms of the ability to feed a large number of people and feed them well? How does your system enable people to satisfy the appetites and
The
the
needs, yeah.
volume of food that you have to create while being on a budget?
Yeah, and it's almost like you need this more than ever when you have a bigger family, right? You need to run on systems, you need to have routine, or else you're not going to be able to have dinner every night or feed your kids what they want. And so it is about having that, that structure to your day, knowing, with a meal plan, knowing what you're going to eat that night, so that way you can prepare for it and take those time pockets out of the day to get dinner ready and on the table. I mean, everybody's busy. Everybody has things that they have to accomplish. So, how do we make this easier and more convenient so that it actually gets done?
Okay, terrific. Now you remind me of another topic that we discussed when I was on your podcast, which was the resistance to meal planning. How do you get someone to get on board with something that they feel is not their skill set? They don't have time for it. It's just making them crazy. What do you do to coach people and support them?
Right. Yeah. So, the first thing that I do is let's just make this easier. I mean, you're probably the best one at explaining this, but our brains as humans want to make things complicated, right? If things are complicated, we get to stay in our comfort zone. We don't have to take action. We don't have to move into action. So, what I like to do is make that barrier into action easier. So, if you're not meal planning or if you haven't found success with meal planning, don't just go crazy and think you have to meal plan, 7 meals a week. Why not just start with 1 or 2 meals? That seems really tangible, easy. You can bite that off and chew it. And you just plan one meal for next week that you're going to shop for, get the ingredients for, and then cook it. And you start there and you find out that that actually wasn't that hard. And maybe you could do 2 meals, maybe you could do three. I don't like meal planning. I am here with everybody else who doesn't like meal planning. That's not what I want to be doing with my time, but I actually only do it twice a month. So I take every 2 weeks is when I meal plan. It takes me about 20 minutes. I get it done. I get it out of the way because I know it's like that investment of time, that 20 minutes of time is going to make the rest of my week so much easier. It's going to make me feel less stress around dinner time. And the big cherry on top is that it's going to save you a ton of money doing it.
I love it. So there's reward upon reward upon reward
Yes.
in your system. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Now your business has really taken off. I know that because we share a business coach and we're in the same community, and it makes so much sense that it would. Has it surprised you how much of an impact you've been able to make, and what have your reflections been about the growth of your business and the impact?
You know, this whole time, before I ever invested in a business coach and before I even really opened doors to a business, right? I've been doing this for a while. I didn't officially open doors until the beginning of 2023, where I was like, I am sitting on gold. Like, I am sitting on something that so many people need, and I need to tap into that. And like, I always knew that this was unlike anything people have ever heard. And I knew that it was going to revolutionize the way that people shop, plan, and cook for their families. And it wasn't until I invested in the business program and finally like put my energy towards this, and the whole time I kept saying, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know how, like, how do I take this thing that is crazy, sees crazy results, and how do I make it into something that is actually a profitable business? But once I invested, once I, got in the room with other people like you who are just business geniuses, it was like that was when it just kind of took off, and I was finally able to know what I didn't know. I finally knew what I didn't know, and I knew how to make it something.
Beautiful. And I think because you knew it was gold for information and the transformation you were offering, it probably was no surprise that so many people were drawn to what you were doing, or did it just amaze you? How many, or both?
Well, it's a little, sometimes actually the first time I launched my first program, it was a course, it was Grocery Budget Boot Camp. And I actually was really upset with how well it didn't do well my first couple times that I launched. This was before I invested in a business program and all that. And I was really mad because I was like, what the heck? Like, why isn't this people drawing to this? And so I kind of had to figure out my own way to do this and how to help people. And so, I mean, the sky's the limit with something like this. And we're growing like crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but we're not anywhere close to where we are going to be. It's all progress, and it's all it's all like super exciting. And that having the feedback and the engagement that I do, and and all of the people that have come into my world just fuels the fire again. It just makes it seem like, okay, there's more and more people that need this.
So proud of you. So grateful for you, your discipline, your motivation, your love for your fellow homemaker and woman and men out there and families. Your impact has been huge. Thank you for sharing your time with me and for letting us know about your passion and your mission and your work. This is amazing.
Thank you, Christine.
Could you share with us about your program and how our listeners can get attached and into your program or connect with your system and method of saving money on groceries every month?
Absolutely. So yeah, you can start. I mean, simple, easy. Just follow on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and we have a lot of resources linked on those pages as well. And I do have a monthly membership that people can join. It's called the Shop Society, and that's where I teach the shop method, but also we have a bunch of resources. We have those meal planning resources. We have the community. We have a recipe vault that helps you meal plan easy, frugal, delicious recipes. So we kind of just take everything that I've really found that helps people save money on groceries and put it in one place. So it's easy, digestible, and that is as well available to anybody that is looking to get some further digestible things to do.
I know I'm going to look at that myself because I realized from preparing for our conversation today that this is an area I have not really considered. Like I could actually save a bunch of money by being more intentional in this area. So thank you for that. Could you share the link for the membership or how to
Yeah,
get
so
started?
if well, the best place to get started, I do offer a free class. And that kind of gives you like an overview. If this is the right fit for you, it kind of gives you like a little bit into my teaching style and what I do. And that class is www.heyrachelcoons, which is my handle.com/HRC, like Hey Rachel Coons, HRC training. And we can link that in the show notes. And then I do have a free, it's like a 15-page guide, a free grocery savings guide that we can link up as well, to get you started. It has a meal plan in there and some tips and tricks to save money on groceries. So we can link that up as well. And that's heyrachelcoons.com/savings guide.
Terrific. And I will absolutely prepare those in the show notes. Thank you so much. This is very generous of you. I'm so proud of the growth you've been able to nurture while being a mother of four and really doing it with such great energy and great commitment. So thank you. Do you have any final words for members of our audience who are thinking about an idea for themselves, thinking about some sort of self improvement, family improvement, home improvement, something like that, but they're feeling, well, I don't know if this is possible. What would you say?
Oh, yes, I do. I have some things to say about that. I am one of those people that held myself back for so many years because I was afraid and because I didn't feel adequate enough. I didn't feel like I knew enough, and I didn't feel like I had something amazing to offer to the world. And the only thing that stood me between me and where I am today is action. And had I just sat with those feelings and not taken action, and I've failed a lot, I've made a lot of mistakes and I've done a lot of things wrong, but I continued to take action every single day, that consistent action. And that is the difference between someone who reaches their dreams and their goals and someone who doesn't. And it's just taught me, like, I can't be the one that holds myself back. Other things can hold me back, but me, my mind, my actions, they're not going to hold me back any longer. And so if someone is struggling with that, just take action. You don't know what the future holds for you unless you move forward into the future.
I love it. And my listeners know that I totally subscribe to this kind of thinking. Action matters, your desires matter, and you matter. And when you put all that together, it's a very unstoppable kind of force. So,
Yes.
Rachel, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone follow Hey Rachel Coons. She's got a brand spanking new podcast that you can listen to her work, her development, and her thoughts about how to stay motivated, how to keep taking action, and listen to our show together
Yes.
on that podcast as well. And everyone enjoy. Thank you so much again, Rachel. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone.